You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and Jon.
Welcome back to another Guitar Talk. I'm Dave.
And this is Jon. How the hell are you?
Today we have a couple of guests with us. We have one, Dave Markland.
Hola.
And we also have Mark Kovar. Both of these gentlemen have worked with us at West LA Music and are musicians, extraordinaires. And we thought it'd be good to have them on and reminisce about some old stories, talk news stories, and basically just get along.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Can we all just get along?
This is how we kick this shit off.
Hold on.
Markland,
Yo.
you wearing pants today?
Fuck no.
And
I'm Porky Pigget.
Zero.
No, not really. Got my PJs.
Folks, this is the episode that's going to get weird.
It will.
So let's talk. Mark Kovar, when did you start over at West LA?
I worked for a year and a half. I think it was 2007.
Okay.
And then, Markland and I went to GC for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then I think we both went back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
That must have been 09, 010, 010. Something like that.
Oh, 10. Yeah.
And then Markland came down with me to Alva's.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. San Pedro. Right?
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
that's it.
great down there. That was a nice location.
Yeah. Oh, it was great stuff. But so I remember, Mark, when you started there, you were working in pro audio for some reason. You came in and you started working with Spiewak, I remember.
Yeah. I think Rick Waite hired me, and then he's like, put me in Spiewak's department, and that it took about 2-3 weeks of doing that. No, it was maybe a little longer than that, and then started hanging out in the guitar side.
Yes.
Actually 2 stores, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Little background. Anyway, yeah. So, and that really stuck over there for a while.
Oh, yeah, no, totally.
Practicing done in that little acoustic room.
That was great. Well, I always love the way you play. I mean, you're one of my favorite players in there.
Yeah, definitely.
You and I had a lot of laughs playing.
I had to figure out that riff.
We used to play that all the time for people.
Like a theme song, man.
Right? Oh, it was great. And there was just a lot of laughs though in there. Remember the time I was telling you should get a pipe, so when people ask you a question, you just fill in the pipe and then you look and you
the robes, and everything,
A little fez.
Ponder that for a second.
You never answer a question. You just think. Well, let me think for a second. You just move very slowly and deliberately.
Yeah.
Always looking up into the side.
Yeah. Let me decide. I must ponder.
But they had some good guitars in there. There was a couple of duds that stayed in there for a really long time, but for the most part, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
all of those guilds. I remember the guilds from the Fender era that were,
Right.
God, those things hung on that wall the entire time I was there.
Yeah.
Weird, because there was a Dreadnought that was really sweet, had a big sound.
Yeah, they weren't bad guitars, but people couldn't give a shit.
They wanted Martin or
Right.
Taylor. That's it.
Right.
Matt,
A few Gibsons scattered here and there.
Yeah.
But
I think when I was at GC, I sold a lot more Gibsons.
I sold a ton of Gibsons.
Birds and J45.
J45s, yeah. God, we would sell tons of those things.
Travis reached out to me not too long ago. He messaged me just to shoot the shit, and he's like up in the Pasadena area. You guys worked with him over at GC, didn't you?
That's the guitar guy, right?
Yeah.
He was at Hollywood,
Yeah.
as far as I knew.
Went to West LA because eventually he was back at West
I
LA.
went to West LA later.
Worked with him at some point. I just can't remember.
Did you guys hear that Irving Azoff's and his wife bought the Apple Pan?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No.
I heard about that.
Yeah, because I guess she grew up in that area, and the family that owned it wanted to sell it, and they wanted to keep it exactly the way it's always been, so they bought it.
Oh, that's cool. Instead of just tearing it down and putting some, I don't know, sterile, homogenized kind of something business, you know?
I think the Apple Pan still does a pretty good business, though.
Yeah.
Did they only accept cash at that place, or am I thinking
Yeah,
something?
I think so. I think
Yeah,
it might-
that's
yeah, old school. They don't want to pay
that's
the
why nobody ever went. You know,
Yeah,
well, we never went. I'd always have a debit card or something, and
Right.
you know.
It's hard to operate like that in the modern age.
Well, there's a place here called the Town Spa Pizza that deals only cash too, but they put an ATM in the place. But still, I think it just gets them away from the 4% or whatever they have to give up to. You know,
Understandable.
Yeah.
keeps the
take
price
the-
down as long as they can.
Yeah, like my favorite taco place just right up here on Pico is Tacos El Campita, and they'll take debit, but they'll charge you an extra 3%.
What was one of your favorite guitars, or a few of your favorite standouts that we had in the store? Because let me just give some people a background that you are a savant when it comes to useless information about guitars that nobody wants to know.
That's me, and I wear that, and I am proud of it.
In the store, you know?
What's that?
He always ends up, rattling those facts off one point or another. You know?
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's great, especially there's like somebody who's like, well, actually, no, it's like this, and then they just get all pissy, and it was fucking wonderful.
But I remember you used to like the reverse V.
I love those things. I actually had two.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, you stole one to Paul, right?
And he still has it. I was talking to him a couple months ago, and he says he still has it. Pulls it out of the original box that I sold it to him in, and he plays it, and he puts it right back. And
It's
He puts it back before anyone
There's
can
not
see
even
it.
a scratch on that thing.
Yeah, exactly, DL.
it's awesome, and it was a great guitar. People look at them like, oh, they're so stupid looking, but they sit in your lap perfectly in the perfect position, and they're so comfortable to play. It's just they're more ergonomic than
It's a lot more
good looking.
sitting down than the regular V.
Yeah,
Great for
Yeah.
lawn darts.
Yeah, exactly.
that's what everybody called it. Oh, how's your lawn dart? Oh, it's fine. But they were cool, man. It's like I wouldn't mind getting another one, but I love the BFG line when they came out in 07. A lot of people, the Gibson purists on the forums and stuff, they're, oh my God, it's a desecration against God, and it's like, dude, it's just a different guitar, and the P90 in the neck, and then the burst bucker in the bridge, and just the raw finish.
Wasn't it like the barely finished guitar or something?
That's it. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I think the top didn't even receive like a sanding treatment. It came off the CNC with like a rough carve, and then they shot some satin finish on it and called it a day.
And then just did a little sanding on it to kind of, take the paint off the ridges to kind of highlight the ridges, and
It was a
gave it
different-
like a crocodile look.
What's that,
Yeah.
Kovar?
It was a different pickup switch on that guitar than most of Paul's.
Oh, they
Was
had
there?
a kill switch up in the normal toggle switch position. Then they had the three-way where the neck tone control would be.
Got it.
Right.
I don't
And
remember that one too much. I mean, I kind of remember the top.
I think you got that backwards. I
not
think the kill switch was where the tone knob was, and the regular pickup switch was where it was.
nope.
Kova?
Yeah. I'm going with what Dave said.
Thank you.
Hey man,
Yeah,
all
you're
my
right.
useless facts and information.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but they're cool. They have a new version that's out right now that's on a blowout at GC. But the thing is, it's either two humbuckers or two P90s. And it's like, and then they kind of lost the Grovers, and now they have the regular kind of Keystone tuners, which are, and then they have chrome hardware instead of the roughed up black hardware like on the originals, and it's okay, but
I thought the BFG suffered when they didn't put a P100 in the neck. They put a P90, and so you're going from a noisy situation to a hum canceling when I thought they should have just went double hum canceling with a P100.
yeah, that probably would have worked better.
It's almost like
Maybe if you're
I
not going to
thought-
finish the top, they might as well have just left out like the bridge ground cable, the shielding internally.
The back covers, I mean, although you did get clear ones back
Yeah.
then.
It was like, oh, this guitar is noisy. They're like, that's because we don't give a shit about it. You'll buy it.
Yeah. It's missing half the frets. Don't worry about it. It's a new feature.
Yeah, exactly.
Kovar, a couple of years ago,
You've been putting frets on guitars for 125
Yeah.
years.
We've been together 125 years building guitars. Kovar, I saw a couple of years ago you posted the Who's Behind the Door, which I loved. Because remember when we worked on that for a while?
Yeah, you got to tune it to a G, I think. No?
Yeah, open G. Yep, with the double G and the fifth and sixth both get tuned to G. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
he did
I sung it an octave lower.
What's that?
I sung it an octave lower. You remember that?
Yeah.
Squealy high voice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Randy Jackson from Zebra.
That's funny.
Huh.
But yeah, no, I thought it was a good job.
The other one.
What is that?
I met the other Randy Jackson up at Amatron. We hung out for a while. That was fun. Some of the cats we used to get coming into West LA Music. We had some.
Which Randy did you know? The one that was on
Randy
American
Jackson,
Idol?
Michael Jackson's brother.
Oh, I know that Randy well too. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's pretty mellow. Yeah.
Really nice guy. Yeah. Yeah, he wrote. He co-wrote "Shake Your Body Onto the Ground" with Michael. That was the first album he came in on, I think. And then he also wrote "All Night Dancing," which my funk band now does.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you have another Michael song? I don't remember.
Yeah, well, Michael was the singer on that album, the Jacksons. It was him and Michael. It was actually Randy joined the Jacksons, and they changed the name to the Jacksons because Jermaine couldn't stay in the band when they left Motown because he was married to Berry Gordy's daughter.
See, you got some useless information on your head too, man.
Oh no, you know that.
We all have useless information. You're listening to Useless Information Talk.
Oh, man.
Now, what are you playing for guitars these days, Kovar?
What's that?
What are you playing for guitars?
This one.
This looks
Is that
like
Grandpa?
Yeah. This
You've
is,
had that thing for as long as I've known you.
Gibson L50.
Uh,
One owner, basically, our family. So, it's pretty sweet. And the modification I'm going to do, the part of it fell off is the Bakelite pickguard thing. Just kind of, as soon as I opened the case when I got it,
right.
basically disintegrated, just fell off.
yeah, they do that.
Parts of this pickup thing that my grandpa had completely just destroyed. So I just grabbed just the pickup. I don't know if you can see what's going on. This painter's tape pre-stuck, so none of this is going to take any finish off or anything. It's just temporary. I just put it on before this thing, right?
Sure.
Take it off right after this thing. But I'm probably going to have a friend figure out a way I can mount this really lightweight. Going to put one wire, no volume, nothing, just output from the pickup. I don't want to add any weight anyhow,
Right.
So it's going to be sweet. And this is where I'm going to have it. Gramps played it up here, right? Always. But
Right, that's where the pickup
Austin,
is, the neck pickup.
what's that?
Initially, it was like a neck pickup guitar, right? That metal rod
The
holds the
bar is even
pickup.
still here.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's Darmond. They're still in business.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you guys see the bar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it used to slide like right up there.
Sure.
And,
Well, I
was
wonder if
first.
Fred could take the bar off and re-glue it to the bridge.
no, the bridge is floating too much.
Oh, it's a floating.
Yeah, it's the bridge is ebony. The fingerboard is Brazilian. We got spruce on the top, so you can't play this thing too loud when you plug it in, and maple on the back.
That's a beauty.
Yeah,
What
Yeah, it's even more awesome in person.
it's just got a lot of personality, and it seems like more originals kind of pop out when I'm playing this one.
Sure,
I
inspiration.
got my Martin and my Les Paul are back there.
Nice.
My telly fell apart a little bit. It needs help.
Smashing it into too many microphone stands.
It's something like that. Yeah. just a quarrel between two people.
Now, I always thought of you as, weren't you like a big 175 fan? Like, wasn't that
I
like
thought that I would love the 175. I actually bought the Epiphone. I don't know if you remember this. This
Blueburst?
chapter. It was like it was a 3-day chapter. I bought this thing. It was just uncomfortable. I couldn't make it sound good. I'm not Steve Howe, so I just kept moving on. But Telly always seemed to be the thing I grabbed because it's just the simplest. The volume knob, which I'm working all the time, so
Right.
it's right there, and it's like invisible. You see me doing it. It's like,
Sure.
Well, I think you played Telly the couple of gigs that you and I did together, in that pseudo Johnny Cash sort of thing.
The Bingham Strike Force 5.
Yeah, that was that was really fun.
I do remember Levine at one point. He was there and he was just busting up because I was just doing some stupid riffs.
Oh, it was great.
Yes.
You were doing all those like spaghetti westerny sort of like the country licks, and they were
making it really twangy, And
oh, that's great.
country dudes do. They'll take their Telly and they'll tune down just for one riff. Tune right back up.
Oh, hysterical. That was over at the Good Hurt.
That's right.
Good memory, man.
Yeah.
That place is gone.
Really?
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Isn't it a restaurant now or
It's a
something?
boring old restaurant now.
Yeah.
Good Hurt.
That really
Here.
so if I think about it now, that may have been the last stage in West LA, west of the 405, where a live band can go and play.
Wow.
I thought there was
that actually
Santa
promotes music.
Monica on Lincoln.
There is. There's a couple places there, and there's up in what's it called, Sawtell, Japantown. I've always called it Karaokeville.
Oh, yeah.
West
Little
LA.
Tokyo there.
Yeah, I hear bands coming out of a couple places down there.
I don't think. Yeah, I'm curious what places they're playing because
They got that big karaoke bar over there, too, that's loud.
they have all the karaoke bars over there.
Yeah. It's a fun part of town, though, over there. Kind of close to the New Japan. New Japan would be on the fringe of Little Tokyo.
That's
Yeah,
still
you're-
there, I think, right?
Yeah, New Japan's still there.
Such Magoosh.
But the guy that
That
worked it is now at Mitsuwa, so he's made his way south.
Ah.
Do you guys remember there was 2 Strats there? I think one was 65 and one was a 66. They were both like vintage Sunburst.
Yes.
Those were 2 of the best electric guitars I've ever played. I don't know if you guys got a
They
chance
were
to see
always in the glass case. Well, we had them in the glass case for a while, but yeah, they were
About the actual vintage ones.
They
66.
were hanging up and available for a short time, and I took
Mhm.
advantage of that.
Yeah. We also had the 65 and 66 SG specials, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Or wasn't there a
Yeah.
Les Paul Jr.?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a Les Paul
Yeah, it was
special,
a
that
junior,
cherry
I
one.
think.
Oh, I thought it was an SG special. Because I remember it was like
There
the
was-
Townsend guitar.
There was one, but there was also I don't think there was 2 of those. I think there was one Les
Oh.
Paul Jr. I think Kovar's right
Oh, okay.
because there was definitely a junior in there because that's the one I
Old one. It was an old one, but it was
Yeah, I
double
remember
cut.
thinking it.
It was double
Right.
cut.
right.
So,
That
yeah, I
might-
remember they had a Les Paul
Yeah, but-
special that we used to always take to the guitar shows in Santa Monica, and trying to sell that thing. Everybody would look at it, but for some reason nobody would buy that one. And
Well, they-
didn't you get
A real
Smart to bring
67.
cash to the show.
What was that?
They didn't bring enough cash to the show. They're like,
yeah.
We had that terrible 67 Rickenbacker 12 string. Neck was so thin, there's no way in hell anyone could possibly play it unless you were 11 years old.
no wonder I don't remember it. I probably
Oh, it
picked
was
it
horrendous.
for a instrumental thing.
Yeah, I mean, our vintage selection wasn't good.
No.
No.
I mean, I think the highlight of that store was the custom shop selection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that and the Deans.
Relics, the thing that I like.
Yeah, the Deans.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys need more Deans on the floor. Shut up, Harry. Get the fuck out of here.
Don't you need some more Deans? Oh, man.
God.
Don would have been better off just giving Gary Harrison money to go away for 6 months.
Yeah.
That would've been
Back
better.
6 months. Let me just
Oh man,
keep your guitars away from the store.
Dave Markland, call 111. Markland
Yeah.
111.
I was like, fuck.
That's trouble. Who did the paintings? You remember the deans that had the paintings?
By all
Oh my God!
all,
All those
celebrities.
MLs.
They were
Yeah.
celebrities. The one was done by the guy from Lincoln Park.
One was done
There's
by
one-
Nancy Wilson.
Nancy Wilson.
Ted Nugent did one.
Nuge. Yeah, I remember that.
The new.
The Nuge.
Nuge.
And let's see, God, who else?
I don't remember who else did Rick Nielsen do one?
So,
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't.
As soon as those things went up on the wall, I just forgot about them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like whatever.
Yeah, because they were. What were they? They were base model like import Dean MLs.
Yeah.
And
but with the
they
artwork,
had these celebrity artwork, and they wanted a boatload of money for them. They were $29.99 each or something? Is that what Don was asking?
I think for the Nancy Wilson one, he wanted 36.
Jesus.
And I was just like, no, not.
$300 Dean ML. Right.
Yeah.
I do remember that there was some times when we had the stacks in there. We would get shipments, and we would just have to cram those guitars in that back room.
Yeah.
Months later, you look in the bottom, and there would be a couple of Deans. Luckily, we put the cheap stuff on the bottom, literally just smushed by the whole load.
Yeah.
Cracked in half, just the body, just completely caved in.
Yeah, I mean, it's
write that one off.
Realize, when you're putting in like a Gibson order, how many Epiphones are showing up at the door?
They make you buy a lot.
Yeah, and we were just like, what the hell are we going to do with these? But yeah, I mean, it was
like
not
the blue Les Pauls and all that kind of stuff. Man, that's going to purple Les Paul with tuning, automatic tuning things.
Oh, the robots and the robot Vs. And,
I remember,
I would tell everybody just, buy the guitar because it's great. They had nice paint jobs, ebony fingerboards, all that good stuff. Take all that crap off, put the regular stuff in. It just drops right on, and you got an amazing, unique guitar.
That been awesome that way.
Yeah.
Only time in my life I've ever seen Paul Harris more upset than a simple, "Hey man, how are you?" was when I had to do an Epiphone order with him, and I was fighting him on it. It was time for the Gibson reauth, and I had to do $45,000 worth of Epiphone.
That giant purple Marshall full stack.
Yeah, he bought that, and this is kudos to his wife. She let him sit in the bedroom.
Good
it
for
was
them.
his bedroom amp.
Wow. That's funny.
I still has it.
He's
fun times.
He's a good guy, and he's a good player.
Oh,
he's in a much better company now.
Yeah,
much better company now. Good for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the company that he was with has been together for 125 years.
I knew that was coming.
You guys are familiar with, if you guys watch any YouTube, the new CEO of Gibson.
Yeah, James Curley,
used to work for Levi's, and all he does is it's all political talking points now with Gibson. He's like, well, we're excited about the line. We've been together 125 years of making guitars. We're going to get back to what we do.
Bullet points, yeah.
Right, exactly.
We're gonna restructure, reorganize. We're gonna move forward, take it to the next level, progress forward, and achieve our goals. And it's like, but you didn't say anything.
But the thing is, if you watch,
it sounds like the underwear gnomes.
Yeah.
But if you watch make profit. If you watch all the guys on YouTube reacting to Gibson, they're all super positive. Like they're buying this stuff. Like, oh, the company's gonna be heading in such the right direction now. They got a good guy. What? They're doing the exact. I mean, they haven't changed anything.
Don't change anything.
Except they got a different guy speaking.
Yeah.
Well, they were saying these same points, back when Juskowitz took over back in '85. He's gonna get Gibson back on track, and it's the same shit.
From what I understand, the company was back on track for a good 15 years.
It was.
It started kind of falling off.
Became a lifestyle brand.
Well, Henry, in the beginning said we're going to get back to the way it was, and they made all the guitars. They did the historic editions. They did all that, and then he started coming up with stuff like the Dusk Tiger,
Right. Ooh.
How do you tell a guy like Mark Kovar, oh, you don't need that Les Paul you got. Now you need this Dusk Tiger with this pickup system. You know what I mean? It's like
Like a hair system.
You know, like I just don't realize why the Firebird X wasn't more accepted. You know, I'm just saying. I can't even say it without laughing.
Yeah, but coming from a guy who owned 2 reverse flying Vs, I think there might be some truth in that.
Hey, man, I know how to party.
John, what
Well,
are you playing? What guitar are you playing these days, man?
I'm all over the map. I've got a couple of Warmoths that I put together. If I'm playing the Elvis gig, I'll play pointy guitar. I've got a Jackson that I'll play for
Nice.
that. And that's intentional because Elvis, James Burton would have wanted that.
A Paisley Jackson.
Yeah, so that's all over the place. I've got Strat. I've got a P90 guitar.
Nice.
I don't stick to just one. So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, I've got an SG.
I can see the blue one on the wall over there, but you won't be able to see it probably on the show
yeah.
because we're in wide angle over there.
No, I do see it
You
like
see
a
that
surf
one?
green.
I think it's blue.
That
It's
one
blue over
is
there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's my thumb. Yeah, that one over there is
Surf green is kind of blue, but yeah.
no, it's just your phone. It's the color. It's actually what the hell do they call it? Lake Placid blue.
Okay.
Yeah, but that one, that's my Warmoth one that I made, as well as this one right here.
Single
That's
pick.
cool.
Very simple, low output humbucker. It's a Saturday night special.
Oh,
Got
cool.
a coil tap on the volume knob, simple bridge, and a Wenge neck.
Wenge.
Wenge.
That's beautiful. What's tell me about? Is that a top? A separate top? It looked like a 3-ply body, something.
No, it's it's just a two-piece body. It's a mahogany body Koa top.
Oh, it's all okay.
A laminate top.
Koa
Yeah.
top. That's what stood out there.
It's the Koa caster.
The
Right on.
Koa caster.
Right on.
Yeah, man. Tell me
What
about
about you,
American Hair.
What's that? American Hair is on American hiatus.
Oh, American Hair was great.
Well, thank you. We had one new fan last month. Yeah, I've been writing some stuff. It's just like so many half-baked ideas. It's almost like I want to put a concept album together where you have like 50 songs and they're all a minute long.
I like it.
Yeah,
Kind of like the side 2 of Abbey Road.
yeah, all
Yeah,
flowing together like that.
Yeah, just throw them all together and see what happens.
It's yeah, it's taken me a bit, but anyway, I'm kind of psyched to get this guitar modified and just get it to a point where I can just pick it up, plug it in, and go. You know?
Yeah.
And every time I pick it up, there's a new idea that pops out. It's pretty sweet.
Huh.
And that's a good guitar.
My Strat, my $99 Strat that I got a few months back.
Yeah.
It's amazing what they can do for $100, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, with slave labor, it's unbelievable what's
What kind of thing? It's like this piano that I bought. This thing's got weighted keys, not just semi-weighted. I mean, it really feels pretty sweet. And it was like, I don't know, Zeev got me a sweet deal. It was like $250.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's like, what kind of slave labor am I really promoting
Well,
here? You know?
Kids are good at detail work.
Tell you, man. This keyboard rocks. It's great to play with keyboard.
I have one here too underneath this towel. This is my it's a Yamaha weighted key. Just to throw some ideas down and the same thing, but it's like I picked it up used on the Facebook Marketplace for $150.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean it's just it's killer. But so Kovar, are you still because you always had some interesting. I always liked when you pick up a guitar because I never know what I'm going to hear. You're a big Genesis fan. You're a bbig Yes fan, and just to letting people know,
like
it was
yeah.
always fun to hear you pick up the guitar, and it would be like hearing Steve Hackett. I mean, the rare Genesis stuff that nobody plays or listens to. Thank you. And
Oh, I remember when we learned that in the store.
oh yeah.
Oh man, I haven't played that song in years. Ah, dude.
Do you remember the song that they did? They had an album called 3x3 that Paper Late was on. And then there was a song called You Might Recall that I absolutely love.
That
You might
Three Sides
recall.
Live?
Yes, it was. I think it was on the back of. It was
Yeah.
that, and Me and Virgil, I think, was another song on that record.
Yeah,
good
those
stuff.
are.
But I remember you used to like the stuff like Happy the Man. You know, the early.
That was a good one. I haven't played that one in a long time.
Yeah.
Little drop D thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And then we also used to mess around, you and I, with And You and I. I'm Close to the Edge.
You had that opening. It sounds like it's doing one thing, and it's a 12 string, so it's another thing. That's why I could never figure it out. Yeah.
Oh, it's so
Kind
fun.
of like when I finally figured out the guitar for when the levee breaks. You know, it's a double drop D. That's really the trick behind that one. It's not that big of a deal, you know, but it's just it's deceivingly easy or something.
Right. Do you remember the time when Trevor Horn came in the store and I tried to get him to meet you and he didn't want to and I got pissed?
I can't remember that because I guess I didn't meet him.
No, you I thought I may have told you about it, but I said to Trevor Horn, I said, you got to go in the acoustic room. This guy Kovar is a huge fan of drama. And he just goes, he's like, I don't care. It was a long time ago. And I'm like, get the hell out. I was pissed.
Oh, you know, like there's that's funny.
He came up to me afterwards and goes, are you out of your mind? What are you calling at Trevor Horn for? I go, he's a douchebag. I go, he's not allowed back in the store unless he's with you.
I remember missing Geddy Lee by about 10 minutes. I think John was there, right? You met Geddy, no?
Yeah, I got my
got your picture. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
And what's funny was
the only guy that I was going to bother.
And Don's reaction to it was the best.
I don't remember that one.
Who's the old Jewish woman? No, I don't.
But he was putting pictures up on the website, and you said you should put this picture of me and Geddy Lee up, and he's like, "Who's that?" And he thought it would be more impressive to have some like French producer that none of us had heard of, and we were like, "What?"
Yeah. Well, he's a little detached being up there at 111.
True.
Remember how stuffy it would be? You'd go up to that office and it's like they didn't believe in windows or air conditioning. What was the deal there?
Yeah, it was just an interesting upstairs office area.
He used to yell at Hightower in front of everybody.
Oh, well, in fairness, he may have deserved it.
Good old Hightower.
Hightower was a good bass player.
He was that guy.
I liked him. The only thing was he would always come up to you and be like, "Hey man, it's just you and me."
Oh yeah.
Didn't I get you secret, John? That
I got my eye on something. He's like, I want to bring you into it. He was one of these guys that would have nothing going on, but he would always have something going on business wise, right? Just nothing real. So I got something going on. I'm gonna bring you in on it if you want it, but you can't. You look around. You can't tell anybody about it. It's like, oh, for God's sake, you don't have nothing going on.
You remember when Michael Katz just took a dive off the friggin' ladder? He was hanging some guitars up there on the real high. It was like, boom, 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 boom. It's like on the way down.
I think that happened on my day off or something.
Yeah.
I don't specifically remember that, but the sound effect and the visual you provided, good enough.
Now, Katz just took a new job, right? Because I just got
somewhere in
East DJ Hollywood. Band
East LA or Hollywood,
something like that. Yeah, East LA.
Yeah,
more East than.
I was gonna call him. I haven't called him yet.
Yeah, man, he's been back and forth across the country a few times. I feel like him and his wife moved out east for a while, and now they've been back
to Delaware.
Oh, that's what it was, right? Yeah.
Cool. Where are you living these days?
I'm in West LA still.
Oh, you're in West LA. Oh, giddy up.
Yeah.
You're not at the same spot though.
I went. Yeah, unfortunately, I wish I would have saved that spot. It was really sweet. This place is okay. It's not bad.
We're in West LA. Like what area?
National and Sepulveda. If you look at the map, it's 10.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that area.
You can even see the transition from the 10 to the 405.
Really close. You're close to Friend.
Pretty close.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
on.
on one of these guitar talks, you know. Like to pick Friend's brain about, you know, all that kind of stuff, all those mods that he does, you know.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Good repair guy, good guy. I like Friend.
Yeah.
He was just recently working on a guitar. He posted to Facebook that was some super valuable guitar that's been signed by like every major artist. It's not one of these. It's not one of these.
Yeah, it's like it's got a million signatures all over it. Not
Yeah,
something
and
you
it's
wanna play. It's just
yeah, and it's not even like just some modern guitar that's been signed. It's like it was like a 1936 Martin or something, and it had been signed like through the course of its life. I don't know if you saw that Facebook post. It has like like Elvis Presley and
right, and then people
I can't think
20
of
years
anybody else.
later, you know.
Yeah. So it's this giant collective, but apparently it's quite valuable.
So Dave, how about Dave Levine?
Uh-huh.
How about what guitar are you playing, man? You still playing your Telly with the P90s and whatnot? Your custom?
Well, it was that was a Telly with the TV Jones Gretsch style pickups. I still have that. My main guitar is kind of behind me. It's a yellow. Let me see if you can see it. It's that yellow. It's a Warman Strat that I made, and then this guitar here you'll appreciate when.
Yeah, I love that one.
This is a Mexican Strat that I bought on Craigslist for $300. Took the whole pick guard off, put a brand new pick guard in with DiMarzio noiseless pickups, changed the saddles, Wenge neck, ebony fingerboard, lasered the logo, had filled it with acrylic paint, and it's a big fat V-neck.
Sweet.
And the whole thing cost about $900 when all was said and done.
Mm-hmm. You did the neck? Is that a custom neck?
Warmouth.
Yeah, Warmouth.
Warmouth neck, and it's mahogany with ebony. Did you say?
Wenge.
The whole neck.
Wenge.
It was what those Warwick necks were made out of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the same material I'm using on my Warmouth stuff too. It feels, if you've never played a Wenge neck before, it feels great.
Yeah,
that's for all of our people listening to the show too. Go buy a Warmouth Wenge neck, put it on your guitar.
What
it feels great because there's no finish. It doesn't take finish, so you just have this raw neck, and you can. The grain is really interesting because you'll find spots where there's some open pores and everything, and it just feels fantastic underneath your fingers. You slide along rather easily, shall we say.
Well,
what do you think about the trend towards roasted maple necks?
I'm sure it's great. I don't like the look of it, but I like the fact that, they're claiming anyways, and we'll see. But it's supposed to be more stable because they're taking that moisture content out of it. So
right.
The stability is good.
A little bit lighter. Plus it smells like maple syrup.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
After every gig, I'm going to want to go to Denny's.
Yeah,
if you're looking for like a Strat or a Telly and with a big fat neck, the thing to do is just buy like a used one on Craigslist for like under $300. Turn around and resell the neck with the Fender logo on it. People will pay like $150 for it. Now you're $150 into a guitar, and Warmouth neck starts at about $150. So, that's like really
spec it out the way you want.
It's so much easier. Life becomes good. And,
I always see like these debates on you're throwing good money after bad or whatever, and it's like, what point does a project, if you eventually have to redo the entire thing? Like, for instance, this is my 74 Strat that I just kind of got back together a couple months ago. It's 100% all vintage original, never been changed. It's all 100% locking nut and everything.
My God.
But yeah, I was like, I got it from Pete Plankowski, and it was a mess, and I mean, it was really filthy too. So I cleaned it up, and then recently I put the a whole loaded pick guard with the Seymour Duncan Everything Axe set on it. It's got a little 59, a duckbucker, and a JB, and sounds great. And it has this Liberator pickup system, or this Liberator hookup system, which is all solderless. And it's a volume pot attached to a terminal block, and on one side you attach all your pickup leads to the terminal block, and on the other side you just have the 3 hookups, one for your bridge ground and then one for your positive and negative on your output jack, and just drop it right in, and it sounds freaking great.
And what version of Floyd Rose is that?
It's an original.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The German.
Yeah.
German made, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it had a 42 millimeter block on it, real thin, and it would stick out a little bit. So then I dropped in a 37 millimeter, and it's perfect now. And did a couple things to it. Put on some stainless steel.
Just so you know what you're talking about when you're talking about the millimeters, you're talking about the height of the block.
Yeah, the height of the block, how long it is.
It's the exposure on that guitar is so bright you can't see anything. By the way, because of the way the light is.
Oh, sorry. Let me just kill the light. Okay, how's that?
Oh, there you go. Way better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, for a second it was better.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, when you hold it back a little bit, it opens up, cleans up quite a bit.
All right, look, it's a guitar.
Yeah.
But now you've got some weird pickups going on in there too.
Yeah.
Looks like mini humbuckers from Duncan. What is that?
Just a little 59 little JB duckbucker.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called the Everything Axe set.
So the question is, what are you all in on that?
Gosh, total. God, I got this thing real cheap from Pete. Like this pick guard was like altogether $300.
Mm-hmm.
And I ordered it off of Reverb, and yeah. So into this guitar, gosh, I'm probably about maybe I think 1,500 or so. And it's an original 74 body and a 74 neck, and the output jack is probably these 3 parts are probably the only thing original on this guitar. Everything else I changed, and that's what point I was trying to make is like, at what point do you think it's like throwing good money after bad? But this is a great guitar, and it has a fantastic neck on it, and the only thing I think I need to do to it now is put on some big ass jumbo stainless steel frets, and it'll be done.
Right.
Then I could say it's 100%.
Right. Well, the thing about guitars and about this type of thing is you have two states of mind. You have people that are collectors who want to sit there and say, I have an all original, this is going to hold its worth. And then you have guys like Kovar, who's holding a very collectible guitar, but wants to make it so it's playable for him and used as a tool of his trade. Yeah, I think people who use a guitar as the tool of their trade don't give a shit about the originality of this piece or that piece. They just want to make it a working instrument.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not going to mod this thing too much. It actually is just going to contain the stuff that my grandfather bought.
Right.
It's just some pieces are gone, and we're just going to move stuff around, but it's I'm not trying to restore this thing to originality. I never liked the pick guard. It's kind of a interesting thing that when the guitar finally became mine, almost the first thing that happened was that pick guard fell off.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this thing became really comfortable to play.
I mean, think about how many custom shop Strats and Tellys have we played?
Countless.
A lot, because there were so many of them that you would just pick up and just make sure it was in tune, do a couple of things, and then not many guitars really stood out.
Right. We played all those custom shops, and I put this thing together again for $900. It plays better than any of those that I had at the shop, and that's where it comes down to, as a player, yeah, that custom shop may hold value longer. And I'm not looking to sell this, but this for me is so much more of like a nice worn pair of jeans for me. As a-
And it's not about the collectability at all. I mean, it's more valuable to a musician to have something that really fits.
Yes. And that's kind of like where I was going with that when Dave brought up the fact that, like, there are some people who will they turn white when you tell them, oh, I changed out those pickups, and they're like, you didn't keep it original? What do I care?
You remember a guy named Bill Walker?
Of course.
Everybody remembers Bill Walker. The
And his
Everybody remembers.
his son's name. Was it
His
Bill?
son's name was Ryder Jr.
I don't know.
But that little boy, what was he, 5 or 6? He's got to be
Yeah.
like 16, 17 now, 15, 16.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
trippy.
much. I know. God, we're getting old. But yeah, it's like he would come in and he would talk about his. He bought a '64 SG Husk, and then he totally turned it into the Clapton Fool guitar.
Yeah.
And it turned out really nice, though. I gotta say, it was fan-freaking-tastic. But then his historic makeover he did on his. Yeah, I paid $5,000 for this Les Paul. Then I sunk another $6,000 into it with the Brazilian and the accurate sail and the recarved top and the high glue, and just like, damn.
Guy couldn't play to save his life, though.
I know.
Yeah. He was a nice guy, though.
He was a nice guy.
Guys that like talking guitars.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. He's the guy that will say, I won't play anything without a bone nut, and then mess up hitting the G.
Yeah.
And what was that riff Kovar used to play? The out of tune riff?
G demolished.
Well, there was a couple that I will refresh your memory. Right.
Please see if we get that.
Right.
Right. And then there's
That's it.
Those are classic.
all right, how about this one?
Oh, brilliant.
But the funny part was when, you were playing those riffs, the look of just pure conviction on your face while you were doing it was just the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
No.
I'd be there like, yeah, Kovar! Just encouraging him and shit.
I still tell people all the time about the Kovar yes-no lead guitar solo.
Oh yeah, it's like
Love it. The yes-no guitar solo.
that was
Do you
some
guys-
fun times.
Were you okay? So who was present? I know you were there, Kovar. Who was there the day Rob Reiner was hanging out in the acoustic room?
I sold Rob Reiner 2 guitars,
Yes. Okay.
2 separate
Wow.
occasions.
Let's get some stories on that.
Oh, it was fun. I pretended to be kind of ignorant about the whole thing, and then I was like, right.
Right. Of course.
He's like, I wrote the lyrics to that song. Yeah, I did. I knew that.
What song is that?
That's the first song in Spinal Tap.
Tap.
Tonight,
Okay.
Tonight I'm gonna rock you.
It's got to be double though. Tonight I'm gonna rock you tonight.
One of the cool things I liked about working at West LA is when certain people would come in, you knew the bands were going to get back together. Like when Elliot Easton and Greg Hawkes came in, and you hadn't seen those two guys together, and I'm like, oh shit, the Cars are getting back together.
Yeah,
Sure enough, a few months later. Yeah. And then remember when Billy Sheehan and Paul Gilbert came in?
I think so. Did
And
they
I
do
was
it?
I was talking to
was
Billy
not
Sheehan
there.
about the Electro Harmonix freeze pedal, and I'm like, I bet you Mr. Big gets back to. Sure enough. And then one guy I'd always run into the most random places would be Dean DeLeo from Stone Temple Pilots. I'd be at a guitar show, I'd run into him. Every time we run into each other, it's like, hey, buddy, what's going on? We'd sit there and hang out, and it was all cool. And one time he came into the store, and his 6-year-old son, Rocco, took a picture of me and him, and then I sent it to Chris up in the advertising. And then I get a call. And it's like, hey, man, I saw your picture with Dean DeLeo in Keyboard Magazine. I'm like, really? Because remember those ads they had, the employees with the stars in the back of the guitar magazines? And it was like, all right, I made it. And then sure enough, Stone Temple Pilots got back together, and I was like, that was awesome. And I told him, I go, Dean, why don't you guys get back together and show these punks how it's done? Seriously, bro, you guys are awesome. And sure enough, they did. And I was like, yes.
It's funny.
Yeah.
So we got Kovar selling guitars to here's a question for everybody. Kovar selling guitars to Rob Reiner. With you other guys in the room here, who would be like the celebrity sale that you were like, wow, this is
I got one more story after. Yeah, go ahead. You guys first.
No, you guys. I want to hear your story.
All right, I'll make my story brief. It was the GC story. All right, beautiful redhead wants to buy a guitar. I ended up selling it a $3,500 Martin D35. It's been a little while. It's numbers. Anyway, so I get to the point, and we're chit-chatting. We're having a really good time. She is gorgeous. And I didn't realize that I was talking to Molly Ringwald.
Ha!
She's older. She's kind of a little, she's not just a little skinny kid. Man, she was beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
My story. That's it. Go ahead.
Molly Ringwald.
I think she played guitar in the first season of Facts of Life.
Is that true?
Verify this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
What do you got, DL? You got anybody that was kind of cool?
For me, my favorite people who would come into the store were David Paymer came in, and
Right, we talked about Paymer before.
Yeah, we talked about Quiz Show. Peter Gallagher came in, and we would talk about the movie The Idolmaker. And he was like the most genuinely excited guy to talk about that movie, and about that was his first experience on a film. And he was just a super, super nice guy. And then there was one time when Rebecca Pigeon came in, and I'm talking to her, and I'm like, God, this girl looks so familiar. I know her from somewhere. And then I say to her, why do you look so familiar to me? She's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, well, are you a singer? She's like, no, not really. I'm like, do you act? She's like, no. Like, I know you from somewhere. So then she leaves, and I went I said, did she pay with a credit card? She's like, yeah. I go, what was her name? She's like, Rebecca Pigeon. I go, God damn it. I knew her.
Who's Rebecca Pigeon? You got
She's
me on that one.
to David Mamet. She's in a lot of the David Mamet films.
Okay.
I'll have to look that.
She just wanted to remain anonymous.
But yeah, I mean, she was kind of like smiling about it. And Ricky Lake used to come in and buy guitars for her
She
kids.
was great.
She was great.
Princess Leia used to visit you all the time.
Yeah, I sold her a guitar. I sold Carrie Fisher a guitar.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, she came into the store with her daughter Billy, and who was also in these the sequel trilogies, and came in, and they were really nice. And she just kicked back, and then I handed her daughter Billy a $1,200 Taylor, and she was playing it, and and she pulled out her black titanium card, and she was really nice. And I did crack her up though when I was in the room, and I kind of looked over and I said, I loved you in the Blues Brothers. And she just kind of like smiled because everybody goes for Princess Leia all the time, and
and bat crazy, right?
Yeah, with the flamethrower and the rocket launcher and stuff. And I thought you loved me. It was great. And then another one of my favorite customers is Nancy Nimoy, and she she goes,
wife.
Yeah,
that would be.
Yeah, she called and says, yeah, I'm going to pick. She asked for somebody, and I said they're no longer here. She goes, well, okay, you can help me. And so she says, I need this and this and this, and I'm like, okay, so I'll put it on a ticket and have it ready for you. And what's your name, Nancy? What's your last name? She said Nimoy, and I'm like, is that Nimoy? She goes, yeah. I'm like, okay. So when she was going to come in, you knew I was going to ask her because I'm such a huge Trek fan, and it actually turned out really cool because she would come in. And I asked her, and she goes, yeah, he's my ex-father-in-law. And I'm like, oh, you were married to Adam and stuff. How's the kid? It's like, okay, I knew too much about him.
Oh, that's so funny.
So then when she was leaving, she goes, I said, well, give Leonard my best, and I'm such a huge fan, and he was my favorite character. And then so she came in 3 or 4 times after that, and I'd have her stuff ready. And she'd always be on the phone, and talking, and I'm like, okay, take her over to the thing and walk her out. And one day I was like wrapping up everything, and then she goes, here, hold on a second. And then she hands me the phone, and I was like, hello? And it's, hello, David, this is Leonard. And I'm like, oh. And I was like, hey, Mr. Nimoy, like a huge fan. This is, I was like trying to like compose myself and not go all fucking uber nerded. But, and he was like,
Peter Brady on him.
yeah, it was trippy. And I was like, it was pretty cool. So we just talked briefly, and you could tell he was out of breath because, he had COPD. Oh, yeah. And it was cool. And then I said, well, I said, Nancy's giving me the look, and so I'm going to just pass the phone back to you, and I said, it's great talking to you. It's been an honor, And so I was going to hand the phone, and then the last thing he ever said to me was fucking awesome. And he goes, oh, and David. And I'm like, yeah, Leonard. And guess what he said?
He said, get a real job, you fucker.
Prosper.
Live long and prosper. So
I would have said to him, I knew from the second you were on that episode of Columbo, you were the killer.
And so that was like the coolest thing, though. So two of my big favorite nerd franchises, I actually got to, meet and, or chat with, the main principal players. And that was pretty sweet.
I have two very...
lapel mic, sorry. I pinned a lapel mic on Hugh Hefner one time at the Arm and Hammer Theater. That was pretty cool.
How nice awesome is that? Yeah.
I have Frank Eck stories. Frank Eck has a customer come in, and the guy says, I want to buy a throne for my grandkid. Frank's like, great, picks out the throne, says to the guy, great, are you in this system? Have you shopped here before? He's like, yeah. He goes, can I have your name? The guy goes, yeah, it's Neil Diamond.
That's right. He couldn't see that it was Neil Diamond. It's the hair, right?
Oh, it's so good.
Oh,
so old, he didn't recognize him.
That's really funny.
But Frank wants me to tell me afterwards, I'm dying. The other thing was when Simon Phillips came in. Simon Phillips came in, and he's buying a kit for his kid. And, they have those tiny little kits. And so he's playing one of those kits. And I walk over with just a big shit-eating grin on my face, and Frank Eck looks at me and goes, just don't even say it and walk away. Because, Simon Phillips is like 5 feet tall.
He's a very small guy.
Yeah, Frank was about, 6'6"?
Yeah, he's tall.
Frank knew I was going to make a joke like, is he picking out a new kit? Frank's just like, just walk away.
Just get out of here, kid.
I was just thinking about it for a second, but I realized that my favorite, I couldn't just say. So a weird one. I sold a guitar to William Clayford Jr., the owner of the Detroit Lions, and that happened when I worked at Mars Music in Detroit, Michigan. But my hands down favorite's got to be when I sold a guitar and some guitar lessons to Robin Buckner. Who was in the store for that? I think you guys. Oh, that was the greatest. That was the best. It turned out to be an unbelievably great thing for you, did it not?
Oh, yeah, it was fun.
Oh, man, lessons.
Till she called me up and told me she hated my guts.
Oh, God. That was unbelievable. Dave wasn't working at the store at this point in time, but he was teaching private lessons all over the West Side. And this woman comes in, and she is an absolute mess.
No, I think I was already back. It was my day off.
Was it your day off? Is that what it was? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, you might be right, because it ended up living in infamy in the store for a while. So, yeah, I guess you're right. No, she's a very, very large woman, and she just had like a ton of money to throw around for whatever reason. So she came in and was looking for an acoustic guitar, and she's like, I don't know what I want. I don't know. Yeah, just, kind of. And I'm like, she sits down and her knees are buried. Right? So if you're sitting on a couch and your knees are buried by your torso, you understand what I'm saying. She was very large. And I'm like, how the fuck am I going to fit a guitar on this woman? So I'm like, okay, she can't play a dreadnought. I got to find something small. So I ended up finding her, I think, a triple O, which she could reach her arm around, kind of. So anyway, long story short, she buys like a Martin triple O without even blinking an eye at the price. Just, yeah, sounds great. Well, we'll do that. And she said she was looking for guitar lessons, so I got Dave hooked up. And for DL, I had told him that I had met this blonde with big, I think my wording, pardon me, folks in the audience, my wording to DL was I met this blonde with big tits.
Oh, he sold it at.
Oh,
Dead gorgeous, tons of money. I think she's a lawyer. Lives up in Manville Canyon. I'm like, oh. Manville Canyon. It was like just the whole backstory of she wants you to teach her, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
let's go.
So it's a private lesson. He didn't meet her. His first meeting with her was upon first lesson at her home. And you can describe that scenario.
I go into the house. I knock on the door, and there's a Paul Lynde character that opens the door.
Oh,
Hi,
Jesus.
Aries. Come on in. So now I'm following this, like, Dr. Smith type character through, I feel, Billy Mooney. We go, and I get into this back room, and he's like, Robin will be just a few minutes. I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at my watch, like, all right, I'm on time. 5 minutes go by. 10 minutes go by. And I'm just like, this chick's going to be hot. This will be a great lesson. Plenty of money. There's a nice house. This woman comes barreling into the room. I'm Robin. Plops down. And I literally am sitting there like holding and laughing that John had got me. And I'm like, quiet, Robin. I'm like, and the whole time it's like, this motherfucker. I did not catch on to that.
That's awesome.
I'm completely blindsided. Like from the second, I'm still sitting in the home thinking that this woman's going to be beautiful coming out. Oh my God.
Kind of getting yourself adjusted. All right.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
Just dirk.
Like
Santa Maria.
And it was just like, it just went downhill from there. Plus, she just always wanted to learn songs I hated. It was just, and she was very sweet. I will say, I things were good. And then she ended up getting screwed over by that guy who was the mincing caretaker. And then she got mad at everybody that was around and was mad at me. She's like, you sold me a guitar for, and I was like, we sold you a guitar for like a huge discount. That guitar is like it was a Taylor she bought the second time. Remember the second one? She bought
She bought another one.
A Koa Taylor that was at a road show with Steve Bernstein. The thing had a price tag of $6,000 map on it. She paid like somewhere in the $4,000s. And we gave her a smoking deal on it. And she got all mad. She's like, I know you screwed me on that. I said, well, you can go take it back. I'm sure someone would buy it for that price because and she never played it. But it was just mad at me about it. I'm like, why are you mad at me? I didn't.
Yeah, she was mad at everybody because that guy would screwed her out of all of her money or something. Something bad happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the initial moment was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You guys know Gazelman's kids playing for the Mets.
Yeah.
Boy, did he get hammered at his debut here in Dodger Stadium.
Oh, he did?
When was that?
This is 2 years ago, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And
everybody, like the beginning of this season.
Everybody was there. Bob was in the thing. They showed him on TV, and but it's good to see that the kid's still stuck with it because he's not bad. He threw a couple cookies up there, and he got hammered. They scored 8 runs off him before they yanked him in the 3rd inning or something.
Yeah, everybody has a bad outing,
I
but
think he's doing well now, though.
yeah, he's still on the team.
He must be, because he had just come up from the minors. That was his first game.
Yeah.
So it's time for him to kick ass.
Yeah. No, I think he's. I think they're excited about him.
Okay, Ian.
I don't know. Bob Gazelman or Robert Gazelman Jr., who plays for the Dodgers. I mean, for the Mets. His father worked with us at West LA. Really a cool guy. I still talk to Bob. I called Bob not too long ago. I told Bob, when you go to New York to see the Mets, call me because I'll drive down and hang out with you for the day. It's not that far. About 3-hour drive for me.
yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. And I love going to the city. You can get a decent corned beef sandwich. Thank you.
Were you guys there when Emilio Estevez showed up? I know one of you guys, we were hanging out, no?
I don't
No,
think
not
so.
me.
Yeah. All right. He was cool. He's a short guy, but his head is just this
Brilliant.
giant face, you know.
Oh, really?
Like Martin Sheen is supposed to be the same way. It's got, you know,
Right.
small guy,
Yeah.
giant head, you know.
Yeah.
Who was there? Who sold Tim Robbins the head shells for the
Not me.
mixing tables? I was behind the counter for that transaction. I can't remember who was next to me ringing him up. Tim Robbins. Oh, dude. He looked like he was on a 4-day bender.
Really?
Well,
He was,
I didn't
Being
spike-
married to Susan Sarandon, yeah. I
dude, it
mean,
was an absolute mess. Doing a lot of this as he's buying it. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
I was like, okay. Good for him.
wow.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
fun stuff. And were you guys working there when Spiewak passed or no?
No, this is
I think
after.
that was at the last part. I mean, when Spiewak passed, Don closed it up. You know.
Yeah, he passed
were
in
on-
February of 2012, right?
He
Yeah.
died May 5th.
It was May? Okay. But it was
May.
2012.
Yeah.
And the store was sold, what, 3 months later?
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't long.
That leads me to the funny story when he was closing the place up, and me and Markland came. We wanted to just cruise through there one more time.
Yeah.
You know, and I ran into Don, and we started chatting. He was really nice, you know, for once. He was really, you know, just talkative and chatting us. And then Markland came around the corner.
Yep.
And his smile was like this, like, oh,
You son of a bitch.
Why, Don didn't thank you?
Oh, he hated my guts. I remember the first time I ever spoke to him personally. It was some guy came in wanting a setup on some old SG that he had, and I asked John about that, and he goes, "No, we don't do, just do repairs like that here." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so I told the guy, and then so he went over to the other side to Don said to buy some Pro Tools. You guys could have missed out on half a commission, blah blah blah. And I go, but Don, they told me that, or no, Mike Hightower. It was Mike Hightower that said we don't do repairs. And I told him, well, Hightower said, and then Don gets in my face, Hightower's full of shit. And I'm like, dude, don't talk to me like that. Just get out of my face. And he and I just never got along after that.
Well, it was the whole thing where I'm still trying to explain to myself how you broke your legs going over that fence, man. That was an incident,
I still try to figure that
for a
out.
concert across the street,
Was
Yeah,
that the
Greg
Kerry
Bissonette.
King one?
No, that was the Greg Bissonette fucking clinic.
It was Greg Bissonette. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. You were carrying a cabinet or trying to lift it over the fence. I don't know what happened because I turned the corner for 1 second and then you were on.
The gate was locked, and I was like, son of a bitch, and I was pissed off, and I was like, it was hot, it was miserable, and it was like trying to set up for the thing, and other people would go out with you, start moving some chairs, and then all of a sudden you turn around, everybody's gone, like motherfucker, and then go back and forth, and then it just happened, and I was like, fuck, what a shitty day that was.
Yeah, that was.
This clinic was across the street at the
At the
amphitheater.
little amphitheater
Yeah.
behind the library or whatever that building was.
Yeah. I just don't remember where that one was. Yeah, no, the thing was, Don always was very talkative to me. He liked me, so we would, if there was a clinic, it was always a Pacific dining car night for me because he would always be like, "Let's go eat." I'm like, all right, yeah.
Dang.
I think Don
you
was a
out.
nice guy. I think Don, like I said to him when I left, and I said to him, he visited me down at Alva's. He came down and hung out with me at Alva's one time. He, to me, the folly of that store was having George be a yes man to him and agree with him on everything.
Yeah.
I thought that was the folly of the shop because he needed somebody to argue with him about certain things that were going on, like the internet being important and, not worrying about carrying Dean guitars. My idea to him at one point, I said to George, we should just be Fender Custom Shop. Forget about the Fender line. You got Guitar Center open across the street. They'll handle that. You should be a Platinum Fender Custom Shop and a Gibson Custom Shop and deal with high-end stuff and be the pro shop that we advertise. And George was like, absolutely, 100% agree. So now we go into a meeting with Don. I say it. And Don's like, that's stupid. And George is like, yeah, I really didn't like the idea. I was like, huh? Well, that's a different song and dance.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got no problem with George personally. I just thought in a business sense, it just doesn't make... In fact, when I left, I said to them, when you have somebody who works for you, who agrees with you on everything, that person's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to disagree with that.
Yeah. And that was that's an old Chinese proverb. Well, it was a great shop while it was.
How long did that stand? It was from the 60s.
40 years, right?
Yeah.
40
Well,
years.
40th anniversary was the model strap that you guys did in 2007.
No, it wasn't 7. That was...
No, it was later.
was when we went.
11.
It was when we went heavy with the custom shop stuff. So it had to have been either 8 or 9 that it kicked in.
Okay.
Oh, that's
But
when they
even-
had those sparkle
I was
with the
at
neck plates and stuff. The straps.
2007. I was at RKS in 2007. Back in the end of 2007. Those
No.
guitars started coming in, or
No.
2008.
2008.
I
Yeah.
came back in April of 2008.
No, because I mean Andy Winston was there after. So Mike Hightower was there right when you left. Because so I started at the beginning of 7.
Right.
And I worked with you and became friends with you after working for you for a few months.
Right.
Right. And then you were gone for at least 1 year.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Because Andy, how long was Andy there?
No.
And when did you guys go to Guitar Center?
Andy, I replaced Andy as
Yeah.
store manager when I came back.
Right.
And Andy stayed there.
Yeah, but I can't imagine that was any earlier than late 2008.
No, early 2000, late 2007. I wasn't gone that long. I left. I left.
I need a timeline, damn it. I'm not buying it.
I was back before January of 2008.
Yeah.
100%.
That doesn't feel right, but okay. If you insist.
I was gone for the summer working at RKS. And then I started consulting with Gary Kramer, and I was doing some side stuff. And then Don called me back. I would say I was probably back there in September or October of 07. But the guitars were already ordered. Those anniversaries.
That's not right.
Because I wasn't there, and you went over the specs with John John.
No. The specs had nothing to do with what I wanted. We put together a model that we wanted, and George and Don just threw it out the window and put in what they wanted.
Right, but during that whole time, so maybe 08 was the 40th anniversary, and they were doing it in 07 to prepare for the 08. Yeah, that makes sense. They would have started it in 68.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to Google, good gentlemen.
Maybe
Kovar.
it just seems awfully. It seems like an awfully quick
I started
timeline.
in 07, John. You didn't start there for until 08, right?
No, I was there in 07. I started. Dave, are you frozen? I think Dave's frozen.
No.
So I started there in right after Glenn Noyes left. Glenn Noyes left, I think, in January of 07, something like that.
It was later. It was later, I think.
Was it? Okay, so yeah, I mean, I know I arrived. Okay, so I arrived in Los Angeles in January of 07. And I started at West LA Music about 8 weeks after I moved to the city. So sometime early in the year, it was either March or April, I was working at the store. And Dave, when did you leave to go to RKS?
I want to say July of 07 or June. Late
Okay.
June or July.
Yeah, so I probably worked with you for 3 months.
Yeah. I
remember getting hired at that store. You and Jim Fine were fighting at the front of the store about something.
No. He was when you walked into the store.
He was awesome.
He was trying to.
John walked into the store and he was asking me about Jim Fine has a
PRS.
As he was trying to restring, and you walked over and said, "Oh, I know." To him, I was sitting at my desk. I remember watching you walk up to him, and then I yelled at him. I said, "You're going to let a customer do it?" Right?
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
That's what I yelled at him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he couldn't figure it out, and I was like, "You got to do this and this," because that was the old PRS locking system, which was really awkward.
Yeah.
Wow.
PRS. I've never really gotten. I think it's that in between scale. I don't know.
According to this,
I avoided them.
So I remember with
Split music started in 1966.
Whoa!
Right, but we didn't start building that 40th anniversary guitar in 2006 because I wasn't even there. That conversation definitely happened way later.
So I know when I came back. When I came back to the store, none of the anniversary models had come in yet. And you had told me you were in on the initial phone call. I think it was you and Mark Ignizi.
Yeah.
On the initial phone calls with George and Don. That's what you had told me because I wasn't working there at that point,
Right.
which had to have been in 2007.
Right.
And 2008, they started rolling in.
Okay, that makes more sense. When I was talking to you about it, I was probably telling you that the initial concept we were throwing around was based upon the custom classics because those guitars sold so well for us.
Yeah.
And it was like we ought to do a play on that because it's going to be something we're going to be able to blow through a lot of them because that guitar was that guitar was a lot more accessible to people. It wasn't a $4,000 relic custom shop. It was like a custom shop that you could buy if you were a serious player and you were willing to save a little bit of money. But the relics were really expensive, and I think the list price on these West LA guitars was like $46.99. Yeah, it was a lot of dough, and they ordered 40 of each.
Oh my God, that's right.
Which
there
was
a lot
just bananas.
To me, the guitar was the exact, and they called it wasn't it the ultimate Strat or something?
Yeah, it was just like a.
And for me, it was the exact opposite of an ultimate Strat. For me,
I agree.
60s body and give me the 50s neck, not the 50s body and the 60s neck.
Yep, that's what they did. They did the 57-62 mashup.
Right.
And it was like,
It would have been better the other way around, the 62 body or 61 with the mint guard, and then give me a V-neck. You know who did it right? There was a store. What's the store that Greg Koch works for?
Wildwood.
Wildwood did a guitar.
They always do good runs.
Yeah, cool runs for sure.
Consistent. Very consistent.
They did the right one. They did one with it looked like a 60s guitar with a dark rosewood fingerboard, but it had a 1056 neck, which was V-neck.
Wow.
You know when I was up front at the store with you and Jim Fine after I showed him how to do those tuners, and I think I turned in an application or something to you, and you said you're hired, and I said, don't I have to interview or something? And you were like, what the hell? You got set off for a second. You were like, what do you need an interview for? I just said you're hired.
Like, what? Why are we backing up here? Let's go.
Right.
I didn't know what the hell to think.
I got a guy more
I
confident
ran.
on the floor, Jim Fine. Now, here's the funny thing about Jim Fine. I met Jim Fine like in 96 at Gold's Gym, so I've always seen him around, and we've talked in the gym a dozen times. When he comes in, he's like, yo, man, it's me, Jukebox. I'm like, what's Jukebox? He goes, everybody calls me Jukebox. I'm like, I have never heard that in my life. I've known the guy at that point like almost like 10 years.
He made it up in the car on the way over.
He's like, everybody calls me Jukebox. I'm like, when?
That's so funny. He was a nice guy, and he did know a lot of tunes. That kid could crank out cover tunes like something else.
He's great. In fact, I talked to Jim not too long ago. I think he's still living in that same place across from your old place.
No, he's in Koreatown.
Oh, that, you know what? You're right. He is.
Huh.
Yeah, we
Anyway.
chatted a little while ago.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I was going to ask you guys real quick. I haven't been around stores. I don't shop all that often. You know, I got
Yeah.
one at home, but I really don't give a shit. But what's the trend with relics anyway? Are they still spending a lot of time making guitars look old?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that out there.
Yeah.
Other companies picked up on it and did it. You know, everybody's got their version of it.
Yeah, that's where it's like, God, I would never buy a relic. Just give me a new one, because when it's 50 years old, it'll look old, you know. And
Yeah.
the relics, I don't know if they're going to be worth shit in 50 years. Pardon my expressions, but you know what I mean. It's not a well-preserved instrument from the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't understand the trend. I think it's just all about looks. You know?
Well, it is. And also, like, I think, though, like, if I were a band, like, if the Rolling Stones said to me, hey, we want you to go on tour, and I didn't have a Strat, I would buy a relic to look like old, beat up, like I'm right with them. And you wouldn't care if it gets dinged when you're on the road, because it's like,
Yeah.
It's already there.
yeah, it's already there. I could see both sides of the coin on it. In fact, yeah, I don't have a problem with it either way. I definitely have a problem, like, with, did you see what PRS did, Kovar, when they came out with the Silver Sky?
The John
Did
Mayer
you get some of
guitar.
those at the end?
No.
This is within
out.
the last year.
No.
It's a Strat with a PRS headstock.
Hang on, I'm looking it up though.
PRS Silver Sky.
It's kind of cool.
What
Yeah.
asked
Well,
you?
Well, I would like it, you know. I like reverse
No one
V, so I
asked
think
you.
it's all right, you know. So I'd really like to get my hands on a Corvus.
I like that reverse V.
Do you remember the guitar,
John Mayer?
the Dewey, the flip out guitar? It was a Strat with the neck on the back of the guitar.
Yeah.
That's
That's-
what the reverse V is to me.
I wanted Dave to just be like, "Yeah, right here. Hold on." Goes off,
Like a hinge or
comes
something?
back. Here it is.
No,
Oh, these are great.
look up the flip out by like Dewey something.
Don't-
It's
Flip
Don't
out
bother.
guitar.
it's absolutely. It reminds me of. It makes as much sense as the reverse flying V.
Oh, that's
I saw this-
beautiful. Look at this.
I saw this one picture of
Oh,
it was a
that
Gibson.
Makes even less sense than the flying V thing. Holy shit! It's like you sent the wrong diagram to some new factory.
When they came out with that damn one year, I walked by it and I'm like, "What the hell are you thinking?"
That's really funny.
There's a guy.
Well, there was a
playing that
Gibson
game.
like that.
Isn't
It was
that what
a
Hendrix
Les
did?
Paul headstock, but the headstock body with a little Les Paul shaped headstock. The body
Now
head.
that's
It was-
brilliant.
It was actually in Henry Juskowicz's office. Somebody snapped a picture of it, and it was just like, wow, what the hell?
It just kills me because it's not even like it's not interesting.
It's
Like
just
somebody
weird.
was like thinking up something. It's just taking something and making it backwards.
Flip
Yeah.
At
out.
least the reverse V was
Disaster.
interesting, you know.
Really is a complete
Interesting to poop on.
Right. It's like it's almost like, what was that movie, The Fly? Right. It's like if you put a Strat in that machine with the fly, and then it comes back in the
It
next
comes
one.
back all back.
Brundle Strat.
Exactly.
That's it. Frundle Strat.
That's funny.
Yeah, you know, don't let it near your donuts.
Yeah, some of those Guitar of the Week runs, you guys were all there when the Guitar of the Week runs were happening.
yeah.
That stuff was cool. There was some really cool stuff from Gibson in that.
Hold on.
Yes.
Did you see the Silver Sky yet?
Yeah, but I'm coming up with different stuff. Is it the blue one?
It's
Well,
it
They
just,
come in a few different colors.
As long
Okay,
as
yeah.
it's a Strat with a PRS headstock, you're on the right page.
Got it. Yeah.
yeah. So when they came out with this guitar, they said it took us 2 years to design it. 2 years in the making to steal the Strat.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any,
Look at that. Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
It looks fine until you get to the very end of it. Yeah.
I've told you guys, I think we've had this conversation before, how much of a hard time I have with the terminology of design in this industry. You see like an artist saying, I designed this, and it's like a Strat, and all they did was they put, a bridge pickup they wanted, and they chose the fret size.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I designed this. It's no, you didn't. Leo designed it. You just put a couple of specs on it that you wanted. That's not a design. Right. I have a hard time with that.
Well, they have to make it seem like it's bigger than it really was.
Well, I don't think they know what word to use in that case. You could say you modded a previous design. I think you're going to confuse people. Let them think they designed it.
Right.
You're nicer than I.
Yeah.
Hey, Kovar.
I'm with you though, because when people say, "Oh, you designed that," I'm like, "Yeah, it's not really." I mean, your Leo Fender. Basically, it's a Fender.
Right.
So I spec'd it out to my specs. That's all you can say. But hey, Kovar, remember that the time we went to the Fender factory?
That was some good times too.
That was awesome. We were like kids in a candy store. We were
having too much fun.
Yeah, the guy was looking at us like, these guys are like,
these guys are kids. These guys are 2-year-olds.
Hold on, did you go to Did you go to Bozeman, Montana too, or no?
Oh yeah,
Kovar and Binghamton.
Yeah, he and I.
Yeah, they opted for the horseback ride instead of the fly fishing, and that's just where I was a little bit bummed about that one.
Yeah,
horseback riding.
Oh. I loved the fact that the year that we get to go is the year they cancel the fly fishing and they stop giving people a guitar. Because you remember they were saying, previous years we'd, given everybody a guitar, but, one too many went up on eBay.
I lost my jacket.
Oh, yeah?
My jeans jacket. My phone is running out of juice here. I'm going to have to...
Was Ren the guy working at the factory at that time? Was he there?
We had dinner with Ren. He's a real nice guy.
Yeah, and I think is he over at Guild now?
Yes. At least last I knew.
Yeah, last time.
People tend to come in and out of that company quite a lot, so it's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
But that's probably outside of somebody's place.
It's not me. They were doing the gardening a little earlier. But...
Oh, they're in back of my, it's outside of my place.
I feel like I'm going to see a big wrecking ball come through that.
I wouldn't be surprised in this neighborhood. I mean, just when was it? A few months back, some guy got shot and killed 4 times. Gangbangers at a party in this house, like 4 houses away from me, and I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden, bang, 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 bang. And all of a sudden, helicopters and the police, they blocked off the streets and everything. And
you start to recognize that sound that happens every once in a while. It's a few blocks away, and it's like, pop, 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 pop. And you're like, oh, my God.
It's like someone just died.
That later.
Yeah.
Especially when the helicopters come. And
used to hear it in Venice quite a bit from that neighborhood over there, like kind of diagonally from where the Whole Foods is.
Right.
On that Broadway area. You always gunshots at night. At first, when I first moved into LA, I thought it was like, oh, there's a lot of fireworks these guys light off.
Right,
always
exactly.
sound like bap, 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 bap. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, usually you hear screaming before the gunshots.
Yeah,
I haven't been close enough for that.
Out the back door, man.
Where was this?
DB Cooper's, but now it's called the Garage on Motor.
Oh, yeah.
Place got shot up. I was pretty close to the exit playing pool with a friend. And, this gang came in and, man, they started shooting. They were trying to scare one of their rivals or whatever, man. I was about this far off the ground the whole time. I was out. I was out so fast. Anyway, go ahead.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Right.
There was big news in LA. Big news in LA this just yesterday. Some hip hop star got gunned down at the corner of Crenshaw and 80th. I don't know who it is, but I guess he was
Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
I guess he was like co-owner.
You don't want to
say Nipsey Hussle.
Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
I know. I saw that and I'm like, whoa. Oh, Hustle, not Russell.
Apparently he's like one of these guys that used to live down there, and he got successful, so he got out, but he still had some sort of a financial share in a clothing store.
Yeah.
So he owned a clothing store. He was at the clothing store, and somebody shot him and killed him. This was yesterday.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I was on Miracle. I was driving by Miracle Mile when was it Biggie that got shot on Miracle Mile back in like 96, 97? I think it was 96.
Did that happen in L.A.? I don't know.
Oh, yes, on Miracle Mile.
Okay, yeah, it was probably
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, I was eating sushi up in at Tokyo Dells in North Hollywood, and I was cutting through there, and the whole street was all blocked off because he had just gotten shot.
Yeah.
Who was that gangster, the Whitey? What's his name? That got arrested there in Santa
Whitey
Monica?
Bulger?
Whitey Bulger. Yeah, he lives living on 3rd Street over by like 3rd in California.
Is that like RL's old place?
Yeah, very close, right?
3rd in California is over just north of Wilshire. It's like between Wilshire and Montana.
Oh, right.
In that area.
Yeah, it's getting up towards the Palisades. That's a really expensive area.
Well, not until you
go
get
up the
north
hill.
of, not until you get north of San Vicente. But it's expensive. Margarita, like when you get north of Montana, it gets real expensive.
Yeah.
South of San Vicente, north of Montana is like a pricey area.
Well, nowadays it's ultra expensive.
Yeah,
Just insane.
it was ultra expensive then. That's a
This
very
whole town
expensive.
is getting ridiculous. Even the
Yeah.
small places you try to find are just 4 digits for sure, at least.
Yeah.
What's funny is like watching the movie The Dirt. These Motley Crue were saying, "Oh yeah, we lived in this place, just right up from the the whiskey, and we were barely struggling." And it's like, seriously, that was always expensive real estate back in the day.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, what's that?
always.
What's that above the whiskey? That's Clark Street, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That movie was a dud, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing I haven't heard before, but I wish they would have focused a little more on Mick's health issues. That would have been cool. Everybody knows about the drug addictions on ODs, whatever. A little more on Vince Neil killing Razzle. That would have been cool. I mean,
Crew. To me, you could if someone said to me, "Hey, can we make a movie about the most uninteresting band?" I'd be like, "Could you guys do Motley Crue?" Oh, you can? Great. Fantastic.
Yeah,
That'll
let's
be-
talk about
yeah.
some of the BS concerts we got comped into, man. I saw Rush for the 11th time. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I got free tickets the last time, too. I'm like, okay. I love Rush. Especially I saw them, like, my first big concert, that Moving Pictures tour back then. It's great. I wish I could just remember that.
Did you go with me to that Moving Pictures concert?
No, I'm talking about the original one in '82 or whatever.
Oh, no, that was the 81. Yeah. I saw them in 2010 at the Gibson Amphitheater doing
I think we all went. No,
I thought
Yeah, I was at that one. I was
we
there.
went to the Dream Theater show too. Same thing.
wow.
Not
There
a
was-
female in the whole place.
No, and that very well may have been the most boring show I've ever been to.
The amazing musicians. They're obviously very, very talented, and I can't stand that vocal style. This opera.
Oh,
It's kind of like
that's
the Iron
it's awful.
Maiden style. I can't
Yeah.
listen to that. I don't like it.
Yeah. No, it's not like the prog rock of the 70s that was actually a little bit more musical and interesting. And
What I love about prog rock in those days is the intensity that the music can have at sort of a low volume, sort of low gain. You get a lot of acoustic stuff, but
Sure.
Yeah.
the intensity of the music is really where it's at. And if you drown it in a bunch of saturation and
Yep.
overplaying, you're never going to experience that. So
Right.
That's kind of
Yeah.
why I'm still stuck listening to Genesis, Jethro Tull, some Yes, as long as it's not live stuff. I can't hear Yes live. It's just, there's too many guys on stage and they're all trying to make noise,
right.
At least they mix the records a little better. But
Yeah.
Genesis live is one of the greatest things ever, Tull, I've never seen, but I would love to,
So
Yeah, I saw Jethro Tull back in the early 90s.
in
That
terms
would
of
be the time to do it, man. Yeah.
in terms of the comped concerts, like you were just mentioning, who was at the Brian Setzer Christmas special that we were comped?
That was great.
Me?
Yep. Okay, I was there too.
Yeah, me.
Markland? No. But
Yeah,
I feel
I missed
like
all the good shows.
Markland
Jeez.
got shit on.
And the Gibson.
Well, I did go get to see the Scorpions, so that was cool.
We
I
had
got to rock like a hurricane.
I didn't get to go to that one.
and
Spiewak was there.
I
No.
wanted to take you, Kovar, but then Beverly wanted to go, so so I was like,
awesome, isn't it? It's tough.
yeah, I was like, damn, like here, just hide in my backpack.
it was you and Melissa. And me.
Son of a bitch.
Say that one more time. You got cut off.
It was me and Deemer and you
Okay.
and Melissa at the Brian Setzer.
It was.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
okay.
went to Chinese food first, if you
No, we
remember.
all had.
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah.
We got a lot of tickets.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. How about White Snake and Priest?
So I was there too.
Yeah.
Me and you.
Yeah.
And there was a few of us
And
Wow.
David Coverdale's voice was shot.
gone.
Yeah.
And the
It
band
has been for some time.
Yeah, but the band was really gone that night, and the band was trying to cover for it. So like they did like a solo that lasted like 30 minutes because they were just trying to buy him time.
Well, yeah, it was what? It was Reb Beach and Doug Aldrich, probably.
Exactly
Yeah.
right.
Doug Aldridge is a monster player.
Yeah, I played golf with Doug a few times.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
nice.
He's not a bad golfer.
Jesus. We're having some issues over there.
Yeah.
Anyway, what
Trying
else
to
did
keep my phone plugged into the thing because it's running.
what else
out
did
of
we
juice.
see? Did we see anything else?
Yeah. We saw. Wait, that was
Gary
White
V.
Freeze. Oh yeah, no, I didn't go to that.
I think I went with Fran and Morgan. Anyway, that was and Craig Sanchez.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think 2 live shows that I saw in LA that were the best 2 shows were Lyle Lovett and his large band, and I saw Sarah McLachlan at the Greek. That was unreal.
Mm.
God, man,
They was unbelievable. And I
I'm
saw
right there with you on the Lyle Lovett show. That
Yeah.
would have been cool.
Who saw AC/DC? I missed that one.
I didn't see him either.
Anybody?
No,
I've seen him
Mark-
before, but
Yeah.
DL, you were at the Dio show at the Greek, right? When he had stomach cancer, but it wasn't announced yet.
All right, the Heaven and Hell show.
Right.
I went with Howie Simon.
That's one I wish I would have saw. Speaking of Howie, I was with him this weekend.
Yeah.
Went
How
and
was
saw him at the Rock Against Multiple Sclerosis benefit.
Oh, did you go?
Yeah. It ended up being pretty good.
Who was Howie?
Howie was playing. I mean, it was all like all-star cast,
Yeah.
and I didn't know anybody there. Just yeah. There was people there, like guy from like the Bullet Boys was there, Mark Torian something. Nobody in the audience knows who he is either. It's all right.
When I saw
Yeah.
when
But he could sing, man.
when Howie and I went to Dio there at the Heaven and Hell show, like we could see like maybe 10, 15 rows ahead of us. It was like all these empty seats in one of the rows. So we're just going to walk right up. So we sit down and we're like standing and next to these guys. And this guy to my left is just like, looks like he's Mad Dog. I can see he's just staring me down. Like I'm in his friend's seat or something. And he just keeps looking at me. And finally I'm like, and the guy goes, Dave? I go, yeah. He goes, oh, I'm so-and-so. I work with Bob Deemer. I thought you looked familiar. I met you when we did the gun shooting day. I'm like, you're kidding me. He's like, I thought you were bad. I took your seats. He's like, those are your seats now. I'm like, yeah, we got the LAPD behind us.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was great. But the guy, I could feel him staring at me like for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, shit, this can't be good.
yeah.
It's getting late, guys, and I must go
It is.
teach in a half hour. I gotta, there's John's dog.
Yeah, she's here. She wants to join the party.
Yeah.
What's up, kid? Say hey.
Ah!
Oh, it's
Yeah.
the animal friendly.
Well,
hour.
I'd bring Phoebe, but she's not that sociable like that.
I don't know what
This is a
Phoebe.
big fat cat. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
I've got a little one. She's around here somewhere too.
So,
Yeah, man.
that's Paul.
Let's see that. Let's see that Les Paul behind you before we
see
get
it.
off.
Too. Looks like a little bit of a tobacco, maybe? Oh, no, it's cherry.
A honey
beer.
burst?
Zebra coils
Honey burst?
going on there.
Yeah, this is a Studio Deluxe.
Yeah, I remember when you got it. Yeah, that's
It's
gorgeous.
actually- It's got the push pull, so I can make these into single coils, but it is something just doesn't jive, man. It plays great
Right.
with double coils. Pretty simple. I love the way it looks.
Yeah, it looks good.
Kind of
I
looks
like the natural binding on it.
you know. What I want to ask Fran, or I want to ask somebody who knows, maybe you guys, about the nut width. It feels different. It feels a little bit wider.
What year is it?
11.
Oh, okay. I remember in 2015 they went to a slightly wider fingerboard with that adjustable nut.
Yeah, it's like the neck feels.
Oh, really? Well, originally,
The nut feels a little
1 and
wider.
11. Originally, it'll be a 1 and 11/16. If it's a little wider, it would be 1 and 3/4, which is what
What
I
you like?
That's what
kinda
it is.
interesting because it makes it a pretty good like Pickers Les
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
You can really dig in there. You got like a little bit of extra room. That's what it feels like anyway. So
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Is that iced tea burst?
yeah,
Yeah, it's a nice
I
color.
see a pretty burst. Dave would know.
Yep.
Oh, it looks good. I had to see from the light, but the only thing I would do with that is I would put the pick guard on. I like the Les Paul.
Pickguard off.
Yeah, see,
no, it doesn't even have.
That's the big debate in the Les Paul. Pickguard on or off? You know, people throw blows over that shit.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
like
Funny.
Yeah, I think it's just a personal preference. When I had my custom, I had a beautiful 79 Silverburst custom.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was awesome. You know,
When the pick guard's off for me, it looks like the guitar's Porky Pig in it.
oh, with the pickguard on, it looks like it's got some extra stuff to me.
Right, it's like a pair of pants.
Yeah.
But if you have a really nice flame maple top that didn't have the pickguard installed, would you still install the pickguard?
Me?
Yeah.
I like the
I
pickguard.
don't want pickguards.
All right, we got a 50-50 split in the room here because I
Yeah.
prefer my Les Pauls with the guard on as well.
Yeah.
So there's just a 50 split.
RS-ish.
There you go. Most of the 59s that you see on the that are still available, and you can actually look at stuff. From what I know, most of them they try to keep that pickguard on there. The 58s and the 60s too.
Yeah.
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 And for me, it's as much a functional thing as not, because the way that the strings are up higher off the body, I like to have a place to put my pinky when I'm playing, and that's
Yeah.
where it goes.
I guess I'm just used to resting it sort of on the bridge area over here.
Yeah.
Even on the other one.
But it's a nice guitar. It's beautiful. What are the pickups in that? Is that
Actually, you guys would probably know. They're both probably the striped, the burst buckers. I'm.
Yeah, they got so many versions of the burst buckers.
See, I'd have to look.
Yeah, if
it's a studio? What is the studio?
Studio Deluxe.
it would be a 490 and a 498. Yeah, because it's a deluxe, they may have bumped up the pickups. But
Yeah. Because that was a special run for GC or something, wasn't
Dave
it?
Markland, would I be correct in saying
No, I
that the
gotta
studio
think so.
generally would be a 490 and a 498?
Yep. That is correct, John.
I think that's right.
Did I have to show you one
Anyway.
more?
We got one more
But,
coming.
Oh.
all you guys have played this one. This is my Martin.
This is
yeah.
Martin.
You got that one at GC, right?
Right. It's an MMV. It's
MMV.
It's kind of like a theme. You know, if you see all my stuff, there's not much binding going on. It's kind of
It was like a stripped down D28 or something.
yeah,
basically.
exactly. No bind on the neck, and I'm like, I'm in. Single ply all the way around. It's,
Yeah, that's not.
spruce top is a different bracing pattern, but you got real nice rosewood
Yeah, it's beautiful.
inside.
Yeah, it's,
Let's
those
hear
things
it.
sold.
Scored.
I can't remember. We were all playing at some Sunday afternoon thing. Levine, you remember that?
I do. That was
Guitar?
at
That's
Mike
great.
Ryan's beach. At Mike Ryan's house on the beach, in Venice.
Yeah. Yeah, we jammed a little bit there, you know.
More wrong with it, I think. Climbing up on Salisbury Hill. Great tune.
Hey, Kovar, remember that 1 month where I think I sold acoustic guitars to every member of the trans community in West LA?
Oh my God. There was the one that came in and she was just like going like this on the counter and just looking, where are your used harmonicas?
Oh, for God's sake.
There was this one. It was well, I'll call her she, but she was like about 6'4.5", you know, about
You're supposed to
240
say
pounds.
they now.
Well,
right?
yeah, they. I don't know. I don't even know the terms anymore. And wearing a mini skirt, you know, some like high heeled kind of little strap thing, and just a little top, and then like sitting there and. Oh my God! And I'm just like, will you just buy something and get the hell out of here? And
She's got a mini skirt. You can see her balls hanging out of it.
Well,
You're
no,
like,
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that.
See your balls right here.
It was like she'd go to the bathroom and she'd be gone for 20 minutes and coming back all, you know, probably doing some meth or something. And then one day I was like, okay, I have to just get a minute for myself. So I went downstairs, had a soda. I'm like walking up, and then I walk into the acoustic room, and like her back is towards me, and she's strumming on an acoustic with a leg hiked up on a fucking on another amplifier, just jamming. I'm like, oh God, don't let the junk be showing, please God, don't let the junk be showing. I don't need this. And it took all freaking day, but I sold that guitar, an Ovation 12 string, and I'd say, get the hell out of here. And then all her friends would come in, and it was like I sold like 15 guitars that month to the trans community.
That's great.
Oh yeah, you remember you guys, Dave and John, you don't remember Black Noise and Leatherface? Markland, you remember Black Noise and Leatherface, right?
Yep.
From
Yeah.
GC, these guys would come in and they were ancient, you know, approximately how old we are now. And yeah, they'd sit there in front of these amps, out of tune, distortion on 100, and just making noise, you know, all the time.
Was Nick working? Was there a guy, Nick Phillips, working at GC at that time?
No, I don't recall the name.
Okay, because he worked there a little after. They asked me to come in one year, and I did the I was a judge on the blues competition thing they had there. You remember when they had the GC blues thing?
The King of the Blues thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rings a
That was
bell.
fun.
So I'm assuming that Black Noise and Leatherface were local transients,
Yeah, basically.
leaving their DNA all over the guitars.
You should have seen Leatherface. I mean, it was really like the guy had more wrinkles.
You know what I found recently? A live CD of Carl live at McCabe's.
Carl was the best.
Green.
What's that?
Carl Green.
Carl Green.
Carl Green live at McCabe's. I found that. He burnt a CD of it for me and gave it to me.
Oh
I
shit!
found it just
I heard it. It's pretty good.
yeah.
He's very entertaining. Yeah. What was that song he used to sing, man? He used to have
Oh, the one he used to do is the news. What was the one? It's like classic country one, isn't it?
no,
Everybody.
he had an original that was really explicit, let's say.
Oh,
I think everybody thought Carl was like a local homeless guy until you start talking to him. You realize he lives at like this. He wasn't necessarily homeless. It was like I don't know if it was a shelter or a halfway house or what it was, but
Like a group home or something.
yeah, he lived at some house that had like a good number of people there. So
I don't know, but he would wander around that neighborhood all the time. If you were going to lunch down the street, he'd be there.
oh yeah, you can see him everywhere. Him and Smart Robin.
oh right.
Oh no!
Oh my God, Smart Robin. Oh man, that's a blast from the past. Oh my God. Smart Robin.
Open the door, close the door. Remember she sang that song? Open the door, close the door, open the door.
She was married.
She was
married?
Yeah.
She was married,
Yeah.
and they lived in a van or something.
Yeah, I
Down
thought
by
it
the river?
was a bus. Like a mini bus or something.
Oh, you're just.
No, I'm serious. That's what she
Oh,
used to
you're
say.
serious?
It was like a Volkswagen bus. And I think she used to go swimming all the time, right? She always would talk to us about
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
She
lots
was-
of swimming.
Yeah, we're going to need a little bit more chlorine, folks.
Yeah,
Let's,
she had.
let's get some
Yeah.
chlorine into that pool.
Jeez.
I feel bad for bringing that up. Just.
Oh, well, you have to wonder. 10 years ago, Is Carl still alive?
I actually was wondering that the other day because I do have a copy of that CD you're talking about, and I found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, Carl, at that point in time, was what, probably 70s?
Yeah.
Late 60s, probably. I had him
Well,
pegged
saying
because
70. That now we've known each other, you guys, for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
12 years. I met John in 07. I met you in 07.
So
Yeah.
he's probably
I met you in 08.
80?
He's probably 80 years old.
80
now.
something, yeah.
Yeah.
And he wasn't in the best of shape back then. There's every chance in the world that he's not around.
Sneezing and coughing.
Right. Dang. Well,
Plus, I know he's like he told me about his diabetes, and he had a few things going on. He said he's having some eye vision problems and stuff. So
Yeah, I don't know.
and we're ending the show on a high note.
I could hear you guys, but you guys couldn't hear me. But did you say you're blind?
yeah, I have I've been having problems with my vision for quite a while now, and so it was weird. It was like last year. I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn 57. I'm going to, make some changes, and I wanted to, get my motorcycle license back. And so I was doing things that I needed to do, like let me lose some weight, get in shape for this motorcycle riding academy course. And I'm like, okay, let me tick off some boxes. Let me get my eyes checked because my vision sucks. And so I went, and doctor's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to send you to ophthalmologist. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I went to the ophthalmologist and dilating everything. And they say, well, your blood vessels are attenuated. And I'm like, shit. And so then they sent me to a retinal specialist. And that's when I got my diagnosis. My retina's discolored and my blood vessels are attenuated. And so I got diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, meaning I'm like tunnel vision. So basically what I can see is like this now. And I have no peripheral vision. Like if I hold my fingers, and right there, I can see the tips of my fingers right there.
Wow.
Anything else is, so I can't drive anymore. I can't, I use Lyft and Uber to get about, and like say Beverly's not around. And it was like, it really sucked. And, like I told John, I was in a funk for a while, and, so
Dave's
then
in a funk band.
Yeah. And so I got a call from this guy named Craig Eckhart over at the VA hospital on Temple, and says, yeah, we can move you up to this low vision clinic and see what you need. So then I met him and this other gal named Megan Ross, and then they got me my blind guy cane. I have a cane.
Wow. And now, is there any chance of surgery to help fix it?
There is, but like right now I have cataracts too. So, and the cool thing about that is like I can actually use that as a joke, and it's like I can see somebody else in an eye clinic. Oh, what brought you in here? Oh, I have a cataract, and I can go, oh, I used to drive a Rinkin. So, I mean, I can make some light of the situation, and it sucked, and I was pretty depressed for a while, and there's some dark thoughts going on, but no, I'm not gonna do nothing stupid. And then I was just basically kind of feel like I was coming out of my shell within the last few months. And, and I went to the blind rehab center in Long Beach. It's right next to the VA hospital in Long Beach. It's like that hospital, the blind rehab, and then the SCI, the spinal cord injury. Huh?
Hey, Dave, Dave Markland, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you find yourself now straying away from common parlance? Like if somebody says, I need a hand with this, and you're like, oh, let me see.
I still do that. Or, when I see somebody, and when I say like, I bump into you, like, hey, it's good to see you. And it's like, it's funny, but, it's like, I can make light of that. And since I can't actually kind of see you guys, it's good to see you guys,
I was going to say, when they told you at the eye doctor, you got to go to rehab, and you're like, rehab?
Rehab.
That's for you, John. Exactly.
It was funny. Like Pete Punkowski called me when I was there, like my first week there.
Rehab. Yeah, gotta go to
rehab. So Pete calls me and he goes,
people
"Hey
that
man, what
passed
have you been
away,
doing?"
Harold Ramis.
And I was like, "Hey Pete, I'm in rehab." And he's like, what the fuck are you doing in rehab? And I told him, well, this is, oh, okay, it's not drugs, it's my eyes. So I had to learn all these skills, and I realized
I'm not kicking.
Markland's like, I might not be able to see anymore, but I'm certainly not giving up the drugs.
Right.
Fuck no.
The drugs I'm keeping.
Oh yeah, I'm still doing my weed.
Rehab for? It's my eyes. Don't worry about it. I'm doing plenty of drugs.
It's like, why do you smoke so much weed? So I don't go more blinder. And then Chief Wiggum and the rest of his guys come over to the place, listening to some Bob Marley.
Say the amp you use is now. What is the amp you're using?
The DeVille.
Is it the Blues DeVille, the Hot Rod DeVille?
Hot Rod DeVille.
Hot Rod. The 60 watt 2x12.
Correct.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love the correct without the T.
Yeah.
I've started that
Correct.
one all over the place.
And one of my kids does that still. He's 5.
It's correct, and that's the fact.
Keep up.
I still do the Kovar. Yeah. Here's the thing about that.
The thing about that.
Yeah, right.
About that? Well,
Yeah.
right.
I heard Markland drop the "it is" or "it isn't," one of the two. That one was a good one. That's an old throwback.
Yeah, I love that one. I go, wow, that is so awesome. Or it's not. One of the two. And you got to just give the right delivery and stuff, and then they'll leave them confused.
Loud
Right.
blast.
5 minutes to get out my door. I have to teach.
Oh man, very good.
Yeah. That was fun, you guys.
We'll do it
Yeah,
again.
that's great.
We're
Oh,
gonna
that'd
have
be
to
great.
edit this episode down. Holy hell, 2.5
No.
hours.
Really?
Kovar, do you have a website that you want people to go to, or a YouTube page that you want people to see, or anything like that?
The funny thing is my YouTube channel got completely shut down, and it's because of a little dispute that I had with. Are you familiar with Wendy Carlos?
Yes.
The electronic Bach,
Orange.
whatever.
Switched on Bach.
Right, that's it.
I had posted my favorite version of one of the cantatas from Bach is actually his version. And I posted it just so I could share it with somebody that I was working with musically. And that stuff got to her so fast, and she had complained or whatever, and my whole channel got shut down.
Wow.
So I'm trying. I mean, I had all my music. I had the captain's log thing.
Yeah.
All that stuff is gone. You can't find it. But I'm still trying to resolve that stuff with YouTube. But at the moment, you can visit me at facebook.com/American Hair. I'm going to post more stuff there. It's just,
Right.
you know.
How about you, Dave Markland? You got any things you want people to?
Let's see. I started up my YouTube channel. I have no content. I'm just kind of adding on, trying to figure out what I want to do with it. It's Greasy Monkey Guitars, and GREASY Monkey and Guitars, and so that's that. And then I don't know. I was gonna with my blindness and stuff, and then like I have my arthritis got really bad too, and then like my fingers, if you can see my fingers, are kind of like this is how they are normally. Can you see that? They're kind of, and I still, it's difficult to play, and it always has been. And that's why it was always kind of awkward playing in front of you guys, because I'd be like dealing with raging pain issues and stuff. So,
Right.
I was a little intimidated, I'll admit, but so I'm going to gear my channel towards, if people have disabilities or something, whatever if they want to play, they want to do whatever, I'm there to encourage them and, kind of do a little more positive message. And, I definitely link to your channels and shit. If you want to see a real player do good stuff, just go to Dave's Guitar channel, and I'll do shit like that.
Who'll be my guest?
Yeah, exactly.
you.
I was
know.
thinking of that joke.
All right, guys. Hey, this was awesome, and awesome to see you guys. Kovar, you and I have to keep in better touch. This has been unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree, my friend. I've been through what I would only call as an abusive relationship, and I'm just sort of dissolving out of that, and I'm trying to just sort of, this place was a wreck. She was living here, and it just turned into a frickin' cluster, and so I'm kind of just recuperating from that, and Well, I am getting in touch with some of the important people that I need to get in touch with. So I'm sorry for not calling and whatnot.
No, same. Our phones work two ways. Either.
Same here. You know, I've been going through my shit, so I kind of like tend to, you know, just isolate myself and just kind of deal with it. Cause like, well, you know, when, you know, you guys got married and everything, and then I was, you know, I didn't want to like call you and say, well, you know, I got all this bad shit. I didn't want to like, you know, throw my negative shit on your positive stuff.
Well, we all got to be each other's support system then, man.
Yeah.
I'm here anytime, really.
All right, guys.
Okay, man. I appreciate that.
I'll keep in better touch.
Yeah.
I'm not calling any of you assholes.
Good.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Somebody has to bring
You know, it wouldn't be Bingham without that. Oh,
I'll never forget the moment that Kovar and I shared Slayer Goes to Church. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We
There's
were
some good videos. How about the
we
one
were
coming,
dying.
coming out of the police scene, you know, with the giant dildo in the box? You remember that one?
Oh, that's my favorite video of all time. I love that.
Jeff, what do you have going on for us?
They're still inside searching for evidence. I'm told 6 people have been arrested and charged with intent to possess and deliver cocaine. I'm told as much as 44 pounds of cocaine. As I said, there's still...
The only one that's better is the guy that had the flotation suit.
Now, the suitcase converts into a waterproof flotation device intended to help victims of sinking ships stay afloat. The device was first designed in 1915 by a former sailor from Alberta. Oh, this is not looking good. Who drew inspiration from the tragic sinking of the Titanic.
All right, to the other entertainment news.
And the people on the news can't stop
pissed
crying.
myself when I watched that video.
Awesome.
one
All
of
right,
the
guys.
dumbest things you've ever seen.
Okay, good
Anyway,
seeing you, Dave.
We'll
Good
find
seeing
more
you,
time
Dave.
for this stuff.
In touch better as well, Mr. Markland.
Yeah.
Don't be a stranger. Being
I
a
won't.
stranger.
I'll
Thank
try.
you.
I'll pop up on your live feeds and stuff.
All right, cool. Very good, guys. I
Okay.
got a live one tomorrow night. I'm on Guitar Hacks.
Okay.
thing. So anyways, guys, very good. Thanks so much for coming. Everyone watching, very good.
Catch
Thanks,
you later.
y'all.
You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and Jon.